2016, I was a college student living right across the street on 34th and Star, walking home from classes every day, and I saw the for sale sign come up on this Faith United Methodist Church building. And at the time I was working downtown with a lot of low-income individuals, and I knew that this neighborhood had a similar demographic, very diverse, high immigrant population, a lot of low-income families, but also a really nearby population of college students who are passionate about making the world a better place. And so having been a part of a church closing as a kid, it just made my heart hurt to see this building empty, and I thought, you know, I have these ideas for what could happen here and how vibrant a ministry it could be. And so yeah, it sort of was just this vision that I prayed about and sort of talked to a few people about it first and thought it would never happen. But then I met Pastor Michelle Chestnut and Reverend Bill Ritter and Reverend Richard Randolph, and they were 100% on board. And yeah, here we are a year and a half later.
The connection between us and Connection Point really is that we helped start it. Beth was a student with us and came with this idea and this vision of doing ministry out of this building and doing outreach out of this building. And I said, that's great. Let's make it happen. Let's work it out. And the partnership with Richard at Christ was kind of a natural fit. He was looking for a way to expand Christ's reach into this neighborhood and wanted to help out in campus ministry in any way that he could be a supportive role. And so we brought this idea with Beth along, and he grabbed right onto it. It's always been a partnership between campus ministry and Christ to kind of start this and make this work, and now we definitely play a supportive role.
We encounter these stories of people who are working very hard to get out of poverty. We have families in this neighborhood who work 2 or 3 jobs in order to provide enough income for their children so their children can go to school and get an education and be able to get out on their own when they grow up. So we see all of the time these stories of individuals, these examples of individuals who want to give back to the community, who want to be self-sufficient, and we're just trying to be a catalyst to help them achieve those goals.
So really, Christ United Methodist Church had faith in me and the vision for Connection Point when nobody else did. It was because they were able to hire me on as their pastoral intern and allow me to spend half of my time here last year. So they really helped get it off the ground in terms of just allowing me to do work here. And then they've been very supportive in terms of bringing over volunteers and donating to the food pantry. It really gets more and more amazing. Every Sunday we have a communion, we call it putting service in our communion service. So they bring up a food item or a hygiene item when they come up for communion to donate to the pantry. And every month it's more amazing, just like how much stuff we get. You know, we're loading, you know, it went from my car full to now we have my assistant's van full of stuff. So they've just been really supportive, and they see that there's a need here and they're passionate about helping to fill it. So I really give them credit for helping everything get off the ground.
One of our big hopes and goals for Connection Point, and then indirectly for Christ United Methodist Church, is that we will be able to establish a diversity-oriented congregation. That means that we will be multicultural, multi-ethnic. We'll have people from different classes, different educational levels, different backgrounds. We'll be a very diverse congregation, but coming together to work together, to be a community with one another, to support one another, to be involved in outreach and mission to our communities, to our neighborhoods, to really make a difference in our neighborhoods, to grow spiritually, and to also just share the good news about Jesus Christ. So we are really excited about the prospect of being this diversity-oriented congregation. And I think that's going to be one of the biggest legacies of Christ United Methodist Church and Connection Point.
Our hope, one, of course, is always to continue this bond between local church and campus ministry. I would love to have partnership and deeper partnership with Christ in campus ministry, meaning that we come in a place of more interaction. A lot of times there's campus ministry and then there's local church. And I don't think it should be so harshly separated. There needs to be some blending there because these students are going to come back to local church. At least that's the hope, is that there's local church for them to come back to. We want to have a thriving worship here with campus ministry. I know that Beth is working on doing that in her own setting for community members, but we want to be able to utilize this space also for the students and have a vital secondary worship service here for the students that we would love to have community members also be a part of if they so chose. My hope is that that would be mostly student-led.
The neighborhood around Connection Point is, it's the majority of people are under 55. You've got a lot of millennials. You have a lot of single mothers, and it's pretty diverse. It's about 60% Caucasian, but the rest, so that's 40% that are Hispanic or Latino or African American, Asian. We have a group here, the Lincoln Chinese Cultural Academy meets in our building. So that's pretty cool. There's a lot of cultures represented. We have a lot of Sudanese people that come in, Sudanese refugees, and a lot of Iraqi refugees that are involved here. The community also has a lot of college students. That's one reason why this is a great location to try to engage college students, is because we're right between City Campus and East Campus. And a lot of students, once they move off campus, move to houses or apartments somewhere between those two campuses. So one void that this ministry has filled is being an easily accessible place for college students to do service. So whether they're trying to build their resume, they're passionate about helping the community, or they have class requirements, Pastor Michelle and I will go and we'll speak on campus and say, hey, we've got this place where you can serve in the food pantry, you can work with after-school programs, you can really do any kind of service you can dream of. And they come, and it's right off the bus route. It's really nearby East Campus, and there's not a lot of hoops for them to jump through in order to volunteer with us. We don't have applications. They just show up and help, and it's wonderful.
Our students come and they help lead the different groups on our afternoons. We have students that come actually throughout the week to do tutoring for kids that just drop in and need help with homework. So it's a great leadership opportunity there. We also really started a year ago with our food pantry. It was a connection with the Lutheran Center, the ELCA Lutherans on campus. They have a food pantry there, and we approached them and said, hey, we want to do that on East Campus. And so we're in connection with them to run Open Shelf, which is a UNL-sponsored food pantry. So we get publicity on the UNL website, which is huge. And the focus was to serve students, UNL community students. We know that 41% of our students are in a place of food insecurity, meaning they don't know where their next meal is coming from at least once throughout the year.
Connection Point makes a tangible difference in the community, feeding the hungry, putting clothes on people's backs, providing a second home for people who need a place to belong. It's truly a place where diverse people in the community can connect to one another and help recognize the kingdom of God here on earth, a kingdom that includes all people and loves and serves all people. And I feel like at Connection Point we've got a little piece of the kingdom of God right here. So by investing in Connection Point, really you're investing in the kingdom.
The reason we need to continue with Connection Point, the reason we need to continue with it being a part of Christ United Methodist Church is I really believe that this is what God is calling us to be and to do. To be this church with 2 ministry sites, and to continue to do the work of being faithful to God's call to build God's kingdom, and to share with those who are unchurched just the joy of living a life that's a Christian life, and having faith and having the support of a community. And I think that, to put it in terms of investment in purchasing the building and continuing to develop Connection Point will pay off not only for Connection Point but for Christ United Methodist Church. We will grow together, we will thrive together, and we will be faithful to God together.